till Scott Guthrie goes on stage to deliver his keynote for Mix. 5 hours, everything is under control on this end. Has anybody seen Scott's red polo, and has anybody seen Scott Guthrie?
Hair and makeup.
Just got word Scott is done with foils and moving on to his workout. I need an ETA, guys. How's it going on that tattoo? Scott is finishing up his tattoos, and then we've got to get him into wardrobe. He's got to make a decision on these red polos sooner than later, people. Let's go.
Scott said no on the red polos this year.
Oh, I see Scott now. Let me ask him. We're getting close, people. Scott is wrapping up his Japanese cola endorsement.
Koda, oishii.
Then we've got the wedding. He promised the Goopies he'd take some photos with them.
There he is! There he is!
No flash, no flash.
He's got to wrestle the bear. And then he's going to finish writing some code. And then finally get dressed into his long sleeve red polo.
Scott's in wardrobe.
He's dressed?
Copy that.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Do I have voice? Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
that was from Mix. If you haven't seen that, that's actually from Scott Goo's entry to Mix. Now you plug over to me, any chance? Or are we going to just do it?
This doesn't run.
Oh, it doesn't run. Oh, even better.
Well, it's still there, so
It's still there. Okay. Windows key.
I'll just swap back to mine when I do it.
Okay, let's get ourselves up and running again. And get rid of that. And start here. And we're back. We're glad to see that actually people turned up. We're very... That was you?
That was me.
That was you. Okay. So we've done 2 challenges. We're currently sitting at 2-2. And we're going to go straight into challenge number 3. You have progressed on your journey from noob to not so noob. Now it is time to see if you know what is on the other side of the fence. In this challenge, you need to implement a feature that is in the other framework and not in yours. Or in a feature that is not in another framework other than yours.
So I'm going to do something for you, and you're going to do something for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you going to do?
Routing. Routing. It's always a case that sometimes there's things in the other that you have to run it together, and you might decide that maybe this is something you should do, maybe this is something you shouldn't do. I wanted to put breakdancing Urukai in there because that's emulation. If I think about it, it's something that it doesn't make sense, but you can do it. It doesn't mean you should. So I'm going to implement routing in. If I do it here, this is actually routing is built inside in WebForms. Strangely enough, you can do it because if you want to have, let's see, we'll do a new solution here. Visual Studio. Bring up this. And where am I going? Okay, sorry. If I bring up Visual Studio 2013, a new one, you can implement routing straight out of the box in Visual Studio or in WebForms quite easily. If I can open up my previous one, I should be able to actually do it fairly quickly. File, now we'll just do a new project here. And do an ASP.NET, start again, empty WebForms. What are you going to do?
I'm going to do view state.
Why?
Because I can.
You're going to implement view state in MVC.
I'm going to have view state in MVC.
Anyone give a good reason why you would implement view state in MVC?
And then what?
course you can. It doesn't mean you should.
Actually, it's because I don't have to do anything.
So,
It's already there.
so my if I add a new, where am I doing here? Add. Oh, actually, do you know what I'll do? Will I do it? Yeah. We'll click.
So routing, for those who are unfamiliar with the concept, is the friendly URLs, where instead of you can always tell, you used to be able to tell it's a web page because it ended with .aspx, which was a hassle. And it looked ugly, and if you wanted to get a detail, something was .aspx, question mark, ID equals 45, or something like that. So routing is going from /employees /50 to that specific entity. So it's user-friendly URLs. People claim it has an effect on search optimization. The wise people differ, there's differing opinions on that. Personally, I don't think it matters, but it's friendlier URLs. When you see that URL, you can instantly tell what this is. So it's more user-friendly when you get a link. You see that goes to there. This is actually under HR, under employees, employee number or name or whatever. It's car, Ford, and so on.
So if you've done MVC, you'll have seen this before. We've just added a register routes, put in my route table. I'm going to match up an employee, and I'm going to use the employee and just get an ID, and then I'm going to point that to employees.aspx. Now, in my employees.aspx, it's exactly the same thing as before. If I view my, where's my toolbox again? Because he closes it because he doesn't need a toolbox. I use one. And if I go to data again and here, and I can bring in an SQL data source. I'm purposely doing this that way because, I can. And I go dot, and I go change here, and we'll go to use the AdventureWorks again. We'll click OK. We'll click next, and next. And there's a lot of clicking. And we do query builder.
Mouse, drag, drop, next.
Yeah,
we call them next developers.
Also known as infrastructure. And we do first name, middle name, and last name. And I'm going to do a output where the business ID entity equals filter control @ emp ID. And click OK. And click next. It'll tell me that. I'm going to put in that I want to use root data, and the root key is ID, and the default value is 1. I click next, test my query, click OK. It should bring back Sanchez J, and click finish. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a very simple details view, match it up with my data source, so it just builds, and I just click done, Control S. Now a nice little trick here, if I go into my web application and click properties, and I go up into my web, and I say I want to start on a specific page, and I say is it employees /2, and I click save, and I just press F5. It should build, and it should bring up the second employee, and I've routing done. Oh, thank you. There's employees.
There's a Slytherin version of employees.
Employees 2. Let's try that instead. Did I do a typing error again? Shift F5. Here, wait 1 sec. Come on, kids. You can do this now. Shift F5. Here, let's just check and see. Yeah, stop. Piss off. You're not allowed to take the piss out of me now. Employee. Oh, employee.
Not employees.
Stop laughing. Employees. This is not meant to be funny. This is serious work.
He's an enterprise developer, goddammit.
What was it? There was never that in the contract. He says, I'm supposed to impress you with this. For Christ's sake. The guy's sitting there like this going, impress me. Make me want you.
I'm just not feeling it.
I am not a model for your enjoyment. Piss off. You and your gorgeous man beard, you. Now, if this works, you're impressed, right? Them's the rules. Please work.
He would have been 5 minutes ago.
There we go, it works. There, now give me a round of applause for that, you bastard.
So we have what's known as a short applause. Let's try. Can you guys know familiar with the term short applause?
Yeah,
it's like a short applause. Thank you.
There, I deserve that. Now, I'm going to sit down and watch it from him.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to do view state. So
Hi.
what is view state?
Excuse me.
Right? View state is
I really want to go over
the framework
Hi.
putting some state into your page.
Impress us.
I'm going to impress you. I've already done it. I've already implemented view state
Why?
because it's there. So view state is the scourge.
We're
of
not
the,
impressed.
The scourge of the web forms. Can you turn on his mic? That's over there. Oh, crap. So MVC has a little bit of view state as well. It does a little bit different thing, but there is a state in there. Can you see where it is? Can anyone guess what the view state in MVC is? There it is. Values. La, 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 la.
That's bigger than my view state.
Actually, it is. It's the request verification token. Anyone knows what the request verification token does? I'll show you where it comes from. Yes. It comes from...
Dum-de-dum-de-dum.
No, not this, sorry. That was the view. Solution Explorer. Web application 1876. Use employees. Let's do create.
See, spot the developer versus the architect. Web application 9.
Here's this one, the anti-forgery token, which I think is built into MVC that when you load a window with a view with a form that you're supposed to post back or send back to the server, you can add an anti-forgery token.
You're right.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anti-forgery token, which says it makes a cryptographic key and embeds in your page. And when you submit it, you post it back. Here, it has the validate anti-forgery token. This is basically making sure that if somebody posts data to your page, it came from your page or your site. So nobody makes a form somewhere else that puts data into your page.
Okay.
So I have used that already.
But you shouldn't promote that part. You should call it the anti-forgery token like you did, and it'll make life a lot easier.
I still used it.
I'm just noticing there's a large amount of water around this computer thing. I'm thinking you were messing up here.
It's on your table, not mine.
Asshole. All right, where are we?
So he did routing, which was a thing that the MVC crowd really liked, so they put that back in. That was your archive.
Yeah.
Challenge 4. So we're progressing from Noob to Scott Guthrie. And no, actually, we've given up Scott Guthrie, and we've replaced him with Uncle Bob as our God and Savior. And we're all about testing. We need to test stuff now. You've read the Uncle Bob's, but anyone know who Uncle Bob is? Anyone know who Uncle Bob isn't? Okay, there's one guy.
You don't know what
Uncle Bob?
Yeah. Robert Cecil Martin,
yes.
I think. He is the author of Clean Code and Code Pragmatism. He's one of the founders of the Agile software craftsmanship movement, and very, very strong man in doing testing. And this challenge is to how to make I was going to say how to make MVC and WebForms testable.
So, testing, and this time we're talking about unit testing.
Yes.
So who here does testing on a daily basis? Writes unit tests, integration tests, any tests at all? UI tests?
Doesn't know what a test is?
Cool. Okay, so we want to test our stuff. And one of the criticisms against WebForms is that it's hard to test, which is why we have this test, this challenge.
Okay. So, to do WebForms, Shift F5, we'll do this and just change up. So, one of the things that we have, when we do that, one of the things that MVC out of the box is model view controller. It has separation of concerns as a model as a view to controller. WebForms doesn't have that unless you implement the MVP pattern, model view presenter. And what this allows you to do is in your application is to effectively run unit tests from your towards your WebForms by separating out your model, which is
so the MVC in MVC is basically just a pattern. It's made in the 70s by a Norwegian guy,
Trygve
something. Anyone knows his full name?
Yeah.
Scout, yeah.
Is he from
So
up
was
here?
Scout, he invented that pattern, which is a way of separating concerns. We have the M model, we have a V view, and we have the C controller. And there's rules on how stuff shall pass between these and what they should know about each other. Now, WebForms doesn't have a model as per se. It has the view and has the code behind, and that's about it. And you get the form main of 8,000 lines. Anyone had that?
Anyone got paid to fix it?
So the MVP pattern is the model view presenter. Now, the two differs in what gets what first. In the model view controller pattern, the controller gets the request, figures out what should I do with this. Oh, I need to do that. I'll call someone else to get some data. I'll do something, and eventually it'll create a model, and it'll take that model and pass it off to the view, which usually builds your HTML, or it could build your JSON thing, or it could build an XML, or whatever. The MVP pattern is the view gets the request, creates a presenter, passes the request off to the presenter. The presenter does what the controller normally would do. I need to get some data from there, I'll do that, I'll send an email or whatever. And it builds a model, and it gives the model back to the view. And the view, of course, shows the model. So they differ in what gets what first.
So if we look at this is a standard WebForms page, there's a code behind. But we've got up here, we've got a new decoration here. We've got presenter binding type of. This is from the ASP.NET WebForms MVP NuGet package by Tatum Oddie and Damien Edwards. And what this allows you to do is basically build up your MVP pattern. And you'll see up here we have models, which, sorry, the density model, sorry, are we looking right? And what we've planned to do is I can actually run a unit test on here, where I can say, is the first name John Doe, and actually test my logic, and just go run unit tests, and it should actually test up, and go sum of first name, last name, because that's actually mocking up the new employee model and doing what you need to do. The problem with this, and if we look at one of the things that WebForms is very good at, is actually having controls dragging and dropping. The MVP pattern doesn't really support that per se. It doesn't allow you to do testable on kind of these black box controls that we have right now. So that is the downside of it. You can decide, okay, I've got to the point where I'm a very good WebForms developer, but now I want to actually implement unit tests, and this is where we have to change a slight bit. And as you see from here, this is just a full name. It just allows you to bring back John Doe or,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and it gives you the model, and you can use the model in the view like this, which takes away all the goodness with WebForms, which is drag and drop. So you basically have to pick.
Yeah.
Do you want the RAD development with drag and drop, or do you want it to be testable?
Do you want to go home at 5 o'clock or not?
That's
And get
another way
paid.
of putting it.
That's the way I look at it.
So let's try to do
We're
this
on
in
15 minutes, so if you want to,
MVC.
we can just show.
Yeah, I'm just going to show you how this works, which is my Solution Explorer. I have a model called employees somewhere. There it is, employee, which has the same thing and has a full name, which returns the first and the last name. Now, the test for this, I've used the scaffolding, the entity framework, and all that, so I don't have to do anything else here but create the test, like so. New employee, first name, John Deere. Full name should be John Deere. That's the test. Because the MVC has the separation of concerns built in. I could also test my controller and see, does my controller do what I expect it to do? Does the controller call certain services, depending on what data it gets in and stuff like that? Now, the problem with both testing the controller, and especially with testing WebForms, is that they're a bit tied to the Microsoft stack. So you have to do a lot of mocking to get that done. It's not trivial, but they're...
It still works.
It still
Technically,
works.
I've just shown it does work. You can actually do unit testing on it on WebForms. Right, we're going to rock on a bit more and do this. Hopefully this works. Are we on number 5?
We're number 5.
We're at number 5. Okay, challenge number 5 is on state.
State.
People are always on, but only when there is Wi-Fi, and they always want to continue from where you left off. How do you manage state? Winner is determined by the framework that has the least to do to implement this. View state, view state, view state.
So you're done now, right?
Yep. Are you impressed with my dancing yet?
I'm going to
Okay,
reject your challenge. And
come up
replace
here and
it.
do a dance. Come on. Oh. Seriously, you've got red pants on. You can't be that kind of shy not to do a dance up there. You have a red pants and a beard. And now your face has gone very red. I think I might have done, sorry.
His face matches his pants. So, want to implement state. I'm going to reject that challenge.
Why?
Because the MVC is built on the principle of not having state.
Yeah, but the challenge says you should have state.
Okay, screwed. I'm screwed. The HTTP stack
Yes.
is a stateless, HTTP is a stateless protocol. HTTP doesn't have state.
Mm.
So the WebForms added state as an abstraction over HTTP, so they went too far. WebForms is an abstraction trying to hide all the different things that was painful in HTTP back in 2000.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was introducing state, because people had used to state in Visual Basic 6, where they just click and drag and press the button does this and does that. So the MVC doesn't necessarily have state. What we do have are a couple of things. So we have the...
They can't see your screen yet.
no.
I'm of the argument that, like, screw what the web says, let's get it done so that people can make it work and be happy and make it sure I want to be able to continue from where I left off and not know and I don't care about session timeouts. I don't want to have, like, how many of you get really annoyed when your cart empties because, you went away from lunch, you're thinking about something and your cart emptied? I'm like, why? If you want to sell me stuff, leave my cart full, leave it there. Amazon does a great job on that, as we just found out earlier today.
So basically, if I want state, I've got a couple of options, none of which are in the framework, none of which are good. I can use session, which stores thing in a bag on the back end, which times out, which has huge problems with scaling and all that stuff. I can do view bag, which puts inside and use hidden fields. I have to do that manually. What I would do is use the web. I would use JavaScript to put stuff in local storage in the browser, which I'm not going to take the time to demo over your view state.
I think I win this one.
So I think this question is, you've asked this question the wrong way.
No, I've answered the question the right way, so I'll win.
That is the wrong way for me.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter.
Anyway.
I've asked the question
I'll have
the way.
to concede that you'll implement state faster than me. I would do it in JavaScript, put it into local storage, and then use that to have an offline app.
Yeah, okay.
However, and here's one of the things where it breaks down, because your view state, you can store data locally, but you can't really use it for anything except just posting back. Now, I can use my JavaScript skills to go offline all the way and make an entire app offline and actually work offline, because I have control of my environment in a higher degree. So that's the thing you get from not having the abstraction. The abstractions help you do something, but then it completely fails if you want to go further.
I still think I win.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
On this challenge, you do.
So right now, I think we're at what? Am I at 3-2? WebForms winning 3-2?
No, I think, we had a draw, didn't we, somewhere?
What's the current score? Does anyone know what's the current score?
Keep the score?
It's 3-2 to me? It's 3-2 to me.
Oh, well.
Okay, last one. Crowd participation. We have seen you've gone head-to-head against each other, but someone is probably winning, but nobody really cares, because all we want to know is, what do the people want to use? You will need to convince the audience in 1 minute or less, and it says, please for the love of God, make it less, and then take a popular poll to see who wins the overall challenge.
Okay, do you want to go first?
Yes, I do. I brought bribes. No, seriously, I did. I've got, like, brains in a jar. Do you want a brain in a jar? It's worth a vote. You have a brain in a jar? Oh, you've got 2 brains? Good for you. This is Denise Edwards. Anyone want a brain in a jar, please, for a vote? I think we just set up...
These are people of integrity, Niall. They won't sell out their beliefs for a simple brain in a jar.
Frankenstein would. Okay, in 1 minute or less, how is WebForms a better spec? It's more mature, it's equivalent, it's fully done, it's fully baked. So it's stable, and if you're using it for enterprise applications or applications where people are going to say, well, we know it's not going to change too much, we can invest in it and it won't go any further, it won't change too much enough that you'll have to do breaking changes later on, this makes sense. If you want to do rapid application development, if you want to bring developers up to speed very, very quickly, if you have Windows Forms developers, client app developers who need to move to the web quickly, this makes a lot of sense. That's me.
Okay. So, yes, I'll concede that WebForms has a slight advantage if you're doing a forms over data application that will only be used internally in some company, it will never go on the public web. And you don't have to make it fancy, you just have to make it work.
It's an AK-47.
You probably know it's not, because they use that everywhere. So you probably have a use case, a good case in that particular use case. However, if you care about your HTML, if you care about the other stuff, if you want to have opportunities and not limit yourself, you want to go outside the constraints of a small use case, then
it's not small.
Falls apart. All abstractions are leaky. All abstractions leak, and the WebForms abstraction, let's be honest, it leaks more than most.
Doesn't.
It's about as tight as the drain in my shower.
Dude, I've seen
Which,
you
by
swimming.
the way, works perfectly. So
I've never seen him in the shower, thankfully.
you want the separation of concerns? Yes. If you're making a simple forms of a data application, just dragging something across, putting into MVC, that'll take you longer. But you have a lot more options on how you want to do it. How do you want to implement paging? Do you want to do it asynchronously? Do you want to do it based on user data? Do you want to do it more or less than what it is? And do you want to do 50 at a time, 100 at a time? WebForms kind of falls apart here. So yes, go for control, go for the endless opportunities instead of the locking yourself in a small cage.
Okay, with that rhetoric, ladies and gentlemen, how many for WebForms?
Who's on my side? Or his side?
Who's on my side? Okay, now just to put it out here, how many on Glenn's side?
Excellent. But, okay, we've had a bit of a joke with you guys. We're talking about WebForms which nobody really use. But there's a little serious piece of thing here as well. Lately, he's not here right now, but a guy said to me, Chris said to me yesterday, he had a really cool, he summarized it very perfectly. People often seem more interested in making stuff to impress others than making solutions. And Denise goes, oh!
Quoting that.
It's not my quote. There was Chris from Mozilla yesterday who said it. I'm going to give him the credit. But I thought that was exactly right. People are often more interested in trying to impress someone else than actually making solutions. I can't use WebForms because people will laugh. People will look down on me and say, you freaking idiot.
I'll laugh at you from my Ferrari.
Yes, there you go. You will never get a Ferrari doing WebForms.
Dude,
you can get a Ferrari doing COBOL.
I know you can, and I'm waiting for that moment.
So there's different tools, there's different tasks, and some tools are better fitted to different tasks. And WebForms has a little place in that tool chain. It can do some quick stuff really fast, really easy. But WebForms MVC is not really the point. The point is picking a tool that does what you want to do well.
And to achieve the result you need. Right, we're at 3 minutes left to go. And I really want to put up this because I knew this. We knew this was going to happen. I just was actually hoping I would get at least one person to put up their hand and, sympathize with me.
But no.
I didn't have enough time in the bar last night to buy people. You guys never turned up or anything. So, any questions, comments, shout-outs, giving out to me, asking me why I was so stupid to defend WebForms? What did you... Asshole. I suppose that's fair. Questions, comments? And going once? Okay. On a day-to-day basis? I'm an architect, I don't use much anymore. Am I using WebForms? I do for proof of concepts when I need to just get up a quick visualization of what the customer is looking for. It'll be just quick drag, drop, get it done. It's less work for me to kind of have to, afterwards I'll say, this is what the customer wants it to look like, and then let the developers implement it whatever way they want. Especially if I'm sitting, want to just say, does it need to look like this, and I don't have to worry about all the extra, especially if they want paging and sorting and that kind of thing. So if I'm looking for walkthroughs and how the customer wants to work with, yes, I'll use WebForms. All right. I take it we're done. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. If any have questions, you can tweet us, or we can try and impress this gentleman a bit more. Class dismissed. Thank you very much. Not even one.